Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today doing something kind of different, taking a look back in time at some enthusiast cars, and we're going to talk about these Saabs that are behind us, right? Saab Enthusiast 1, Alex, and Saab Enthusiast 2, Seth, who has a beautiful
1999 9.3.
A beautiful 1999 Saab 9.3 convertible, right? In brilliant silver. This is a 2004 Saab 9.5 wagon, an ARC wagon, two very different animals, but we chose these things on purpose, believe it or not. How many owners, by the way, has your car had?
This one's had 8 owners.
8 owners, right? And that would be the first thing probably a parent would be like, yeah, don't make that kind of decision, right? But we did anyway. This had like 4 or 5, I think. We chose these cars on purpose, and we want to keep them up to date and up to running speed out on the highways and the different roads of America. We're going to talk about why we like these cars, why we bought these cars, why we put time and money and effort into these cars. We hope you enjoyed the ride just as much as we have. Let's get going. 9993, how long have you had this? When did you get it? Why did you get it?
Okay, so I've had this car about four and a half years, and I purchased one because at the time I wanted to learn how to drive a vehicle with a manual transmission, and I've always liked Saab convertibles, so I thought, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? So this car has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a 5-speed manual transmission, about 185 horsepower and about 200 pound-feet of torque. So some of the projects I've done with this car, first when I bought it, it had some issues with drivability, so I replaced all the vacuum lines, I went through all the electronics, changed all the fluids, I did a bunch of work on the suspension just to get everything kind of sorted and taken care of and addressed all the deferred maintenance issues.
Why did you want to have a Saab? Why a Saab? So many people probably gave you weird looks.
Well, one of the reasons that I like these cars is that they're very rare, and people ask that question. You know, it's kind of an odd car, quirky, very different, unique, and that's what I like about it.
How does it drive?
It drives pretty nice. It kind of has a humble chassis. It's not the nicest, but it is nicer than average and definitely suitable for a car of the era.
Let's go back to the roof. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so when I bought this car, the roof wasn't leaking, but it's electro-hydraulic, but none of that was working. So I replaced the hydraulic rams, all the hydraulic lines, and also the hydraulic pump, and also took care of some electrical modules with help from the dealer to get everything programmed. And now it works and no issues. I did do a little bit of touch up here on the bumper. These bumpers are hard to come by, so I did that a little while ago, but the material that I used doesn't expand and contract at the same rate of the plastic. So someday that'll have to be removed and we'll get a new bumper on and painted. So I bought it with about 138,000 miles, and today it's about to hit 153,000. I do like driving it. It's pretty nice. It's a little bit rough on some of the potholes right now on some of the routes I'm usually driving on, but I think once that gets straightened out, it's going to be super nice again.
Why should folks buy Saabs or care about Saabs?
Well, I wouldn't recommend one for everybody, but you know, it's just unique. It's very different looking. People are always going to say, you know, that they know somebody that had one and they liked how it drove, or they liked owning it. There'll always be a special story about it, and it's just unique.
Okay, so Seth, we're inside the 9.3 now. You fixed some stuff in here. The main part is the roof, I think, right?
That's correct.
What else did you do?
So I also swapped out a couple different things. The original car, the original dashboard was just plastic, and I swapped it out for this nice walnut wood one. Also swapped out the door handles from plastic to chrome, and replaced the ribbon on the Saab information display. It's a very common failure.
Hey, dude, they get pixelated like crazy.
That's correct. Yeah, they just fall apart. So fortunately, there's a company that rebuilds those. So the parts are available, and it's not too bad actually to do.
Tell me about the roof. Can we open it up and see how it works?
Yes, so it's not fully automatic, but there's one latch here, and then we press this switch here on the console, and the roof will fold up in the back. Not the fastest roof.
It still works though. I mean,
okay.
What, 25 seconds, 30 seconds?
Just about, and if you keep holding the button down, the rear windows will go down. And
oh, that's a fun little trick. I don't think I even knew that. Actually, you drove this to the beach though, didn't you?
I did.
What was that like?
I did. It was kind of exciting. I was a little bit nervous about taking it almost 450 miles away from home, but it did okay, no issues.
They sound promising and easy project cars whenever you hear someone else talk about it, but is it a lot of work?
One thing I would recommend is just to be patient, maybe have a second car as well, and also know how to do things. It's good if you can do some basic repairs and save yourself some labor costs. A lot of the things are fairly simple as long as you're fairly capable and have some basic tools, and it can be pretty rewarding.
So now that you've seen the 9.3, we're going to talk about this 2004 9.5 wagon. I bought it about 5 months ago. I bought it with like 115,000 miles on it. It's got about 118 now. I replaced several things. I'm not a gearhead at all. I just kind of work on things that I'm able to Google on YouTube, right? Or search on YouTube, rather. One of the things I changed was the bypass valve right here. Super cheap part, like 15 bucks online on e-Euro parts. It was a matter of like 15 minutes to change everything. And then I spent about 3 hours one day changing all the vacuum lines in this thing. I got an error code, a check engine light one day that was just all about crazy vacuum leaks. And I'm like, well, time to change these vacuum lines. And these were so corroded and just like falling apart and disintegrated. So I bought like 10 feet from a local automotive supply store. And it was hard because it's so tight in there and it's not easy to work around, but it's so satisfying to work on these things and get them working again, right? One of the other things I changed was on a lot of 9.5s especially, if I can get my freaking cover off, this check valve right here will snap off into the hoses on either side and it breaks, which leads to other check engine issues, and this can destroy your engine if you let it go too long. It's part of the positive crankcase ventilation check valve system, and it's just insane that a small part like that can ruin an engine, but it will. Those are super cheap too, and they're super easy to install. Check those if you're getting a 9.5 or looking into a used one. I don't know what else I did in the engine here. Oh, I bought new covers for the battery and for the for the fuse box. Changed the engine air filter as well. Not a ton of stuff. I can't do much on the. I'm not like Seth. I can't do crazy stuff on the engine or anything else. But that's what I did, I think, in the engine. Let's move to the other parts of the car. All right, so here at the back of the car, I haven't done a whole lot. There's a lot of paint and little chips and stuff that's missing, but I'm not going to really fix because A, too expensive, B, it's a 16-year-old car, right? One of the things I did find, though, was these rear backup sensors go really, really bad, really, really often in these 9.5s once they get over like 10 years old, I feel like. And it's kind of hit or miss unless you have a Tech 2, which one is actually bad, because one goes bad, the entire system, the backup park assist system goes bad, even if one is not functioning. So I got totally new ones, new in quotes, from a junkyard car, and I reinstalled them, and now the system works every other day. So sometimes I back up and it works and beeps at me. Other days, like today, 10 minutes ago, it actually said park assist failure. But getting this back bumper off on these 9.5 wagons is a freaking headache. It's not fun because they're actually attached inside to the actual back frame of the car. It makes no sense. You can pop them up like this, but like you're going to bend it and it's just not going to look good. So it almost is easier to let the sensors, if you have them, just go bad and kind of just sit there because it's not worth the time, the money, and everything else. But I also replaced, if you can step up with me, Seth, this backup, the third brake light. This was leaking. The kind of gasket around it was leaking really bad into the inside of my cargo area. I spent months looking for a unit that would fit and actually has a nice gasket that wasn't all like dry rotted and stuff. So these also go bad a lot, and then I think we can all relate to this. Look how crazy that looks. Oh, yeah. It's just stupid.
That happens on all of them though, so.
And like I thought about replacing it, but I don't use it for anything. I don't need OnStar, because what's OnStar in a 16-year-old car? But this looks like crap, but it's the only thing that I really haven't addressed yet on the outside. The leaking is gone, the sensors sort of work. I mean, it was a $3,000 16-year-old car, nice miles, who gives a crap, right? So one of the main reasons I bought a wagon also is I love the utility and the versatility these things have. I mean, these seats back here go down completely flat, but back here I was so happy to find a nice cargo area. There aren't any scratches, no main stains. There's just a lot of dog hair that I was able to pick up and get rid of. But I also refoamed the Harman Kardon subwoofer back here. It sounded like crap when I bought this thing, so I bought a refoaming kit for like $11 online. Took out this entire section, this entire side here, and took out the subwoofer itself and refoamed it one night, and it sounds incredible. So if you guys are looking to do that, or if your speaker's all messed up, because a lot of these 9.5 wagon subwoofers are really messed up, let me know. I'll hook you up with the right kit to get your refoaming done. It's super easy, just takes some time and some patience, but like, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's beautiful. There's just no stains, there's no crazy rips and tears. You got all your storage spaces down beneath here with all my fun stuff. You got your quintessential Saab traffic cone that these cars didn't come with, but I said, why not have one? More storage space over here. If you don't have one of these cars and you're looking at one, this is just the thing to buy. I mean, the sedans are nice, but the wagons are just so much more utilitarian and usable in real life. All right, so finally out for a ride in this 9.3. What's it like? It's a manual too, which is they're kind of rare, right?
It is. So they were, I guess about only half the cars had manuals, but they are more rare now, I believe. So.
It actually, I mean, it drives really, really nice for being, what, 21 years old?
Yeah, it's a pretty old car. It's not too bad. It has a little bit of scuttle shake like all Saab convertibles had to some degree. You'll see the camera shaking a little bit on the windshield, but it's not terrible. It doesn't upset the ride too much.
But I mean, these cars are easy to get a hold of parts-wise because there were so many of them. And then, like, to work on, I mean, if you're going to work on one, they're kind of easy to have, right?
Yeah, they're not too bad. I do a lot of the work myself. Some of the electronics that need programmed and things, I have a shop that I go to, but a lot of the things that are minor, that you can just take care of yourself with some basic tools. Make sure you have metric sockets and Torx drivers and such. But
what is it about Saabs? Like, just driving right now, why a Saab and not, why aren't we in an S2000?
Yeah, well, I guess I was 1 year old when this car was made, so I can't say what it was like when it was new, but driving it now, you look around on the road and you see so many SUVs and trucks and sedans, and just on this short test drive, I doubt we're going to see any convertibles. I like this car in the summer and spring and fall. I don't mind the heat, but even in the wintertime, I'll drive this car in the snow. It handles pretty well with decent tires and really no issues.
So fixing this thing up, I mean, are you proud of all the work you've done? What's that been like?
I am. It's been pretty fun. Along the way, a lot of people, and rightly so, they'll kind of joke like, "Oh, why would you do that?" Or why not just get a Mercedes? And I can't say they're wrong, but it's just something that I like and wanted to own. It's been fun along the way, just getting to know the car and knowing how everything works. You can really appreciate what all goes into it when you kind of have to take some of it apart for repairs. So
right.
That kind of makes it fun.
So for people who are thinking about getting one of these, what's your advice to them if they want to buy one as a project car?
So I would recommend, if you're looking for one as a project, it depends on how much time you want to spend or how much money you want to spend.
It can add up. It
can add up fast. So if it's not something that you want to work on and you don't like working on stuff, I'd recommend getting one that's sorted out. They're not terribly expensive, but if you don't mind doing some work and the things that the car needs as far as work are common failure points, a lot of those parts are still available and easy to come by. My latest purchase is a 1985 900S. So it's not the turbo, it's not the most popular one, but what really sold me on the vehicle was it's in really nice shape. So maybe we'll have that in a future video.
Love that.
The nice thing about the Saab community, if you want to call it that, is that there's a lot of people that, if they're parting out a car, they'll let you know. And oddly enough, looking for Saab parts is how we
how we met at a junkyard.
Yeah, we met at a junkyard, and a lot of people that think Saabs break down a lot will laugh, and I agree. It is kind of
funny. You were at a junkyard. Yeah, for a reason. Which probably also illustrates why we're so crazy. What is it about these freaking cars? What is it for you? What's it for you? Why keep these on the road? Why is it worth it?
I guess just overall, it's impressive how long it's lasted. It's far from perfect, but it's still a nice car to drive that I can still trust to get me from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And it's different and unique, and also you kind of have to appreciate, if you like convertibles, even if you don't like this one, you kind of do have to appreciate it just for that, because there's just not many of them left anymore.
There really aren't. I mean, again, like you said, we took that whole trip. I didn't see one Saab.
Me either.
Let alone a convertible Saab. While we're waiting for the traffic to clear, we're now on the 9.5, okay? And the 9.5, one of the first things I wanted to mention is that the 9.5 actually was the first production car ever, I don't know if you know this, to have ventilated seats.
That's true.
Yeah, which is fun. This one does not have it, of course, but I had a 2001 Saab 9.5 Aero that had ventilated and heated seats, and they worked wondrously. Maybe it is a little loud with the windows down. Oh, there's a Bentley coming. Look at that.
Wow.
Our cars are better, sorry, thank you. But the 9.5 also was sold about high 400,000 units as far as the wagon and the sedan goes across all the years that it was sold. Introduced in what, 98, I think?
98 in the U.S. It was sold in 1997 as a 1998
right.
model. The wagons came a year later.
In 99.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have a 99 wagon. So this is a 2004 wagon that I've only had for 4 or 5 months. Like I said, I had a 9000 before, 10, 15 years ago. My first car was a 9000, a 1992. It was a brick. It had like no power at all, but it was fun and quirky, and it was the base. It was like had no power, but it was fun. It was just a cool little car. I bought it really cheap, and it did the job for a few years. Bought a 2001 9.5 Aero wagon. After that, had the BBS rims on it. It was beautiful. Those early 9.5 Aeros, I think, only had like 230 horsepower. The most recent ones, 2006, 2010, the new generation or the updated generation had like 260 horsepower, I think.
What's impressive about these cars, I always think, is that just the wood trim, the driver's oriented dashboard and controls. It's very very nice. You've got lighting on the left of the steering wheel. On the right, you have the radio and climate control, and then the windows are below that. Very simple.
It's all within reach too.
Exactly.
And one of the things I think Saab does on purpose also is puts the most used buttons up top. I mean, you use the radio and your controls for that the most. So that's kind of what's up there. And it's also within reach. It's not in awkward positions. And also what I love is Saab is one of the only manufacturers, other than like BMW, that has the center console facing the driver, because there's always a driver in the car, right? I think the 9.5s really are they're so versatile. I mean, the sedans are quick and agile and nimble. The wagons have all the kind of space and cargo area in them, and you can customize them like crazy aftermarket too. I've not done anything to mine, because I don't know how to do it and I'm too poor. But have you done anything to your 9.5?
No modifications just yet or anything. I've just mainly been working to get it on the road. It has all of the 9.5 problems and everything. Mine actually has the ventilated seat feature, which is
really
super rare.
Lucky?
That does work, so that's one thing I don't have to mess with. And mine's a manual, just like the convertible.
And all those early model 9.5s, so the engines essentially weren't ventilated properly. And so they were able to finally fix it, I think, in 2003, 2004. The 9.5s they're just fun. I mean, they're a larger car than the 9.3 that you have, but and the sound system in this and your car are both great. This is definitely more of the family kind of car, I think. If you've got more than 2 people, you're going to be hauling around. But there's so much fun, quirky options in this. The night panel is one of them. All you Saab folks know about night panel. Essentially, just push this button that says night panel, and all the main features stay on, but all the extra shit goes away.
I think the tachometer goes off. You can check it. Yep, the tachometer goes off, and the speedometer will illuminate up to
like 80 or something.
And if you cross 80, it will illuminate the rest of the way.
Yeah. And these cars are just so nimble and fast, and I mean, from like 40 to 90 miles an hour, the 9.5 Aero was actually faster than like the 911 Turbo of its same, year, not the new 911 Turbo. But these things are incredibly quick when they're up at speed. I mean, I didn't even really punch it, and we're already at 65. There's just so much pull. There's instant power there. The turbo lag isn't horrible. It's not, unnoticeable, but there's a little bit.
And I think it was Top Gear that said, if you ask a Saab owner why they have a Saab, you always get a grin, And
right.
I think that acceleration in third gear from 30 to 70 is really what it's about.
I mean,
that's really where the car shines.
But just so much fun to drive. They're great on the highway, great cruising speed, and also I get like 385 miles to a tank of gas. It's insane. For the performance that it has, it's amazing that the efficiency is as good as it is. So that's our quick thoughts on why Saabs are worth saving, I guess. It's a crazy obsession. Seth, I think you agree, right?
I agree. They're definitely strange cars, and there are certainly more economical options out there, and
smarter cost option wise, more reliable.
There's nothing quite like these, and maybe that's a good thing, but I like what I have.
Yeah, that third gear pulling power, as you mentioned, just the craftsmanship. These cars hold up. Yours is 21 years old, mine's 16, and they look like they could be 2 or 3 years old. They don't have much wear and tear. I mean, there are cars that are 10 years old that look much older than these cars do, and these are older cars. Any other things you want to see, let us know. He's got 2 other Saabs at home, 3 other Saabs at home, really, that I don't have. We couldn't show you today. Maybe we'll do a review of something else. If there's also any kind of common problems you want to have us do a deeper dive into, let us know. We'd like to do some more content for you Saab lovers out there. But until next time, see you guys then.